Have you ever seen an empire rise so high that nothing could stop it, only to watch it unravel from within? Big Meech was once the symbol of unstoppable ambition and street loyalty, shaping the BMF name into a legend. But now, instead of returning to a hero's welcome, he's locked in a cold war with two of hip-hop's most formidable heavyweights, 50 Cent and Rick Ross. This isn't just an ordinary beef, it's an explosive collision of loyalty, betrayal, and secrets that run much deeper than anyone imagined. If you think you know the full story, hold on tight, because the truth is stranger and more shocking than any rumor floating around. In the early days, the Black Mafia family was the gold standard of street influence and rapid success. Under Big Meech's leadership, BMF grew into a powerhouse, attracting the respect of high-profile artists and everyday hustlers alike. Meech's aura, part fearless risk-taker, part self-made mogul, turned him into a legend before many of us even knew his name. Stories about BMF seemed larger than life, woven with whispers of massive parties, star-studded connections, and a code of honor that couldn't be broken. But even legends need a boost to maintain relevance, and that's where 50 Cent came in. After Meech was locked up, much of the hype around BMF started to fade. People wondered if BMF's story would remain trapped behind bars. Then 50 saw an opportunity to resurrect Meech's legacy through a TV series, shining a fresh spotlight on the name and the brand that Meech had built. For a moment, it looked like a perfect partnership. Meech still had the street cred, 50 had the industry pull, and both sides stood to profit in a big way. Yet as the spotlight grew brighter, cracks began to form. Rumors circulated that while Meech was grateful for the exposure, he felt overshadowed by 50's business savvy. The tension simmered under the surface, hinting at a rift that only needed the right spark to ignite. And that spark would appear in the form of another major. Name Rick Ross. Big Meech's decision to drift away from 50 Cent and align himself with Rick Ross was initially dismissed as just another business move. After all, in this industry, collaborations shift constantly, and alliances can change overnight if someone gets a better offer. But for those who pay attention, the partnership raised eyebrows. Rick Ross had been 50 Cent's rival for years, publicly, personally, and legally. Linking up with Ross meant Meech was picking sides in a war that spanned well beyond social media jabs. On paper, the arrangement might have seemed beneficial. Ross was said to be supportive, both financially and strategically, helping Meech plan his next moves after his release. Industry insiders whispered that Ross was promising Meech the world. Concerts, endorsements, even expansions of the BMF brand. Yet there was also the subtle question: was Ross truly trying to help Meech, or simply dealing 50 Cent a humiliating loss? Meech, possibly blinded by the excitement of new backing, ignored the warning signs. After all, Rick Ross was no small figure in the industry. If anyone could match 50's clout and publicity, it might be Ross. Meanwhile, 50 watched these developments with amusement. He wasn't just out of the loop. He was standing on the sidelines, taking mental notes. And when Meech and Ross announced a massive concert to celebrate his grand return, 50 Cent made it clear he didn't believe it would ever happen. That declaration set the stage for a cancellation bombshell that left Meech looking exposed and betrayed. The so-called Welcome Home event was supposed to be an explosive sign of Big Meech's triumphant comeback. Advertisements hinted at major artists, special appearances, and a night so massive it would underscore the BMF name once again. Ticket sales launched, and fans began making travel arrangements. For a moment, it felt as though Meech was about to recapture some of the old BMF glory. Then, with little warning, the entire event collapsed. Hours before the show, the venue abruptly pulled out, citing unforeseen circumstances. Anger, confusion, and speculation flew in every direction. Had the venue gotten cold feet because of rumored controversies? Did Ross back away at the last second? Or was there a more sinister hand behind the scenes, orchestrating the downfall? All eyes turned to 50 Cent, especially after he posted about the cancellation with a smug tone that practically shouted, "I told you so." His social media played out like a victory lap. He posted screenshots of the canceled show, apologized to fans who bought tickets, and insisted he had no direct hand in the fiasco. But the subtext was clear: cross 50 and you'll regret it. He's known for pulling strings without leaving explicit fingerprints. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get messier, old rumors about Big Meech's early release resurfaced. Whispers had already begun circulating that his sentence reduction wasn't simply a matter of good behavior or legal technicalities. At the center of these rumors stood a woman named Tammy Cowens, a figure close enough to Meech that she held power of attorney over his affairs. Tammy was alleged to have ties to the feds, and according to more sensational claims, she acted as a middle person in some covert deal that involved naming names. The hush-hush talk suggested Meech provided damning info against a longtime associate, Dion Cuffy Gatling, as the trade-off for shaving years off his prison time. Whether or not the rumors are entirely true, the mere possibility began to tarnish the BMF image. Had the man who championed loyalty above all else actually turned on a close friend? And if so, what else might he have compromised in the process? Of course, Big Meech dismissed the rumors as baseless, pointing out that Tammy was only handling business affairs for him. But the swirling gossip, along with cancelled concerts and fractured alliances, added strain to a reputation that once seemed impenetrable. It also pulled 50 Cent's involvement into question. Was he aware of these rumors from the start? And did it influence his decision to slowly distance himself from Meech? Tragically, every high-stakes feud has collateral damage, and in this case, it's Big Meech's own son, Lil Meech. For a while, Lil Meech seemed to be living the dream. Thanks to 50 Cent's support, he landed the starring role in the BMF television series, a role that catapulted him from relative obscurity to Hollywood sets. This golden opportunity wasn't just about fame. It was a stepping stone to mainstream recognition and long-term success. Then came the text messages. Screenshots emerged showing Lil Meech reaching out to 50, seemingly desperate to maintain the relationship. He wanted to make it clear he wasn't turning his back on the person who had essentially launched his career. At the same time, he had to defend his father, explaining that Rick Ross stepped in with financial help at a time when Big Meech needed it most. It was a delicate, messy dance. How do you stay loyal to your dad while also keeping 50's trust, especially when those two forces are at each other's throats? The heartbreak of Lil Meech's situation is that he's forced to navigate an internal tug of war. On the one hand, 50 Cent gave him a shot when nobody else would. On the other, Big Meech is his father, the legendary figure who put BMF on the map. Caught between loyalty to family and gratitude to a mentor, Lil Meech has ended up in the crossfire, taking hits from both directions. While the drama escalated, Rick Ross continued to make headlines, sometimes for new music, sometimes for provocative statements, and often for rumored power plays behind the scenes. Depending on who you ask, Ross's involvement with Big Meech is either a genuine effort to help a man fresh out of prison, or a calculated move to stick it to his old nemesis. 50 Cent Dart Ross has a track record of stepping into business opportunities that place him in the spotlight, and aligning with Big Meech was no small opportunity. For a while, it seemed to work. He was the one apparently taking care of Meech's financial burdens, boosting his image on social media, and even whispering about possible collaborative projects. But once the concert fell apart, Ross's presence suddenly became less visible, leaving Meech with no big stage and nowhere to go. From an outsider's viewpoint, it's easy to label Ross as a puppet master, pulling strings and stepping away once he's gotten what he needs. Yet some argue that Ross simply made a logical business decision. If the venture wasn't profitable or risk-free, there was no reason to stay. Either way, Meech has been left vulnerable, and 50 Cent stands off to the side, calling the shots, and calling out every sign of betrayal he can spot. One of the biggest casualties in this dramatic fallout is the BMF brand itself. The show, once hyped as the next big thing on Starz, might be teetering on the edge of cancellation. Speculation suggests that behind the scenes, 50 Cent is prepared to pull the plug entirely if he feels the loyalty he once relied on is gone. With tens of millions of dollars at stake, most people would tread lightly. But 50 Cent has a reputation for being ruthless when he believes he's been crossed. Fans have noticed signs of trouble. Cast members staying silent on social media, rumors of production halts, and uncertainty about upcoming scripts. If the BMF Show ends, Lil Meech and others attached to the project might find themselves suddenly cut off from a steady paycheck. The entire brand could unravel, casting doubt on what legacy remains of Big Meech's once infamous empire. Meanwhile, Meech and Lil Meech seem trapped in a precarious position, alienated from 50, unsure of Ross's true intentions, and burdened by swirling gossip about financial desperation. The illusions of unstoppable power are fading, replaced by questions about who, if anyone, is really in their corner. All the while, 50 Cent continues to move like a chess grandmaster who already anticipated every angle of his opponent's strategy. Ultimately, the question looms: did Big Meech, the once revered figure of BMF, set himself up for disaster by turning on 50 Cent for short-term gains and flashy promises? Or is this a case of Ross playing both sides, leaving Meech in the cold after using him for leverage? In a world where loyalty is rare and betrayal happens in a heartbeat, it's tough to know where the truth lies. What's clear is that the collapse has been devastating. The canceled concert exposed fault lines in Meech's relationships. The rumors of hidden deals eroded his once impenetrable image, and Lil Meech is struggling in the aftermath, trying to hold on to the pieces of a legacy that may never be the same. And looking on from afar is 50 Cent, the ultimate puppet master or the ultimate opportunist, depending on whom you believe. So, does this mark the end of BMF as we know it? Has Big Meech's reputation taken a hit it will never recover from? Or can the empire be rebuilt under new alliances and different deals? One thing is certain. In this game, betrayal carries a steep price, and a single misstep can topple everything you spent a lifetime building. Share your thoughts in the comments and brace yourselves, because if history is any indicator, this saga is far from over. Keep watching, keep asking questions, and never forget, when it comes to loyalty in the industry, nothing is ever guaranteed. Subscribe, drop a like, and stay tuned for more revelations as they come to light. The next chapter of this story might be the most explosive yet, and you won't want to miss a second of it.